Chapter 81 Disgust. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Qin Yu was about to answer, someone yelled his name. Qin Yu. What are you doing here? But he turned to see Su Kuan, his ex-girlfriend's younger brother. Su Kuan, feeling parched after his game, was heading for a box of water bottles when he spotted Qin Yu and blurted out his surprise. Then, as if he'd struck gold, he excitedly waved to Su Li. Sis, guess who's here? He shouted. Su Li and Feng Yuan might not have been arguing, but things were tense. Hearing Su Kuan's call, she looked up and immediately saw Qin Yu. Qin Yu's here, she said, standing up without thinking. What's wrong? Feng Yuan asked. My ex. You saw him that one time. He's here too. Oh, that kid. Feng Yuan smirked. Let's go say hi. Su Li and Feng Yuan headed over together. He Luo Tong, who was nearby, followed Su Li to see Qin Yu. Then she told Lu Qiao, come on, I see someone I know. She grabbed Lu Feng and pulled him along. Qin Yu hadn't expected to run into Su Kuan, Su Li, and her new boyfriend at the sales office. These were the last people he wanted to see, and now they were all right in front of him. Visibly annoyed, he glanced at Gui Yafeng and started to walk away, not wanting to deal with them. What's the matter, Qin Yu? Running away because you see my future brother-in-law? Still as cocky as ever? Su Kuan taunted. Qin Yu stopped and narrowed his eyes at Su Kuan. Su Kuan, I'm not looking for a fight, but if you keep pushing it, I won't hesitate to give you a smack. That he spoke calmly, but his tone carried serious weight. Su Kuan flinched, stumbling back a couple of steps, his face paling, trying to regain his composure. He asked, what's that supposed to mean, Qin Yu? All right, knock it off, Su Li said, stopping Su Kuan. She looked at Qin Yu, her expression complicated. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. That's what Su Li was feeling at that moment. Just a few days after their breakup, she noticed a complete change in Qin Yu. He was more mature, more handsome, and had a totally different vibe. She remembered all the good times, especially how carefully he'd taken care of her when she was sick, and his constant attentiveness. He might not have been able to give her fancy things, but he was completely devoted to her. Tears welled up in her eyes, especially now that she was seeing Feng Yuan's true colors and realizing he'd never treat her as well as Qin Yu had. With a hint of tenderness, Su Li walked up to Qin Yu. What are you doing here at the sales office, Qin Yu? Gui Yafeng, who had never met Su Li before, asked Qin Yu, who's this? My ex, Su Li, Qin Yu replied. Gui Yafeng nodded and studied Su Li, feeling a little sorry for her. So, you're the big shot who works as a hotel driver but pretends to be loaded. Feng Yuan sneered at Qin Yu. Ignoring Feng Yuan and what Su Li had said, Qin Yu noticed someone else approaching. He Luo Tong. Qin Yu, it really is you. Long time no see, He Luo Tong said with a smile. You're He Luo Tong, Qin Yu said, quickly recalling his former junior high classmate's name. He remembered her well, she'd been their class monitor. Ha, I thought you wouldn't recognize me, He Luo Tong chuckled, pointing to Lu Qiao behind her. She said, this is Lu Qiao, my husband. Qin Yu nodded to Lu Qiao. Hello. Lu Qiao greeted him, feeling puzzled. He shouldn't know He Luodong's old classmate, but something about Qin Yu seemed familiar, like he'd seen him somewhere before. Didn't you used to work as a driver at the hotel, Qin Yu? Why are you working here as a mover now? Seeing Feng Yuan's loud accusation, Su Kuan regained his nerve and sneered at Qin Yu. Mover? Are you saying Qin Yu's working here as a mover? That it was Su's mother who asked the question. She had followed the others, curious about the commotion, and then saw Qin Yu. As her daughter's former boyfriend, Su's mother knew all about him. From the moment they met, she disliked Qin Yu. In her eyes, her daughter Su Li was beautiful and talented. She deserved a wealthy, successful husband, but Qin Yu. He had no money, no connections, and wasn't particularly impressive. Such a son-in-law would embarrass the family. Su Li would only suffer with him. She'd been envious when old man Zhang next door found a great son-in-law and his family immediately became rich. Su's mother had been the most vocal opponent of Su Li and Qin Yu's relationship. She'd met Qin Yu twice, once when he drove Su Li home during Chinese New Year, and again when he picked her up afterward. Both times, she'd given Qin Yu a hard time, constantly belittling him and even urging Su Li to break up in front of him. Qin Yu used to swallow his anger when facing Su's mother, but seeing her again now, he felt a surge of disgust. "Yeah, Mom," Qin Yu was carrying that box of water bottles. "I saw it myself," Su Kun said, pointing to the box on the ground. "I see. Qin Yu, I knew you were worthless. Look at Su Li's new boyfriend, Feng Yuan. He's here today to buy a house for Su Li. And you're just a handyman here, earning peanuts every month, still dreaming of marrying my daughter." Su's mother beamed with pride, her eyes filled with scorn. Su Li, growing anxious, tugged at her mother's arm. "Mom, please, that's enough. Su Li, why are you defending him? He's not your boyfriend anymore. Even if he were, I'd say the same thing. I think you might have the wrong idea, ma'am." Gui Yifang spoke up. "He was helping me move this box of water bottles. Qin Yu doesn't work here, and he wasn't hired to move things. He's not an employee here." Su's mother asked with displeasure, "Then what's he doing here?" "What I'm doing here is none of your business," Qin Yu said, his voice calm but his gaze filled with disdain and disgust as he looked at Su's mother. Chapter 82 Complaints. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing her face, Su's mother snapped, "Qin Yu, who do you think you are, talking to me like that? And who do you think you are, talking to me like that?" Qin Yu shot back. The air in the room suddenly crackled with tension. Click, Star-Dutty Luo Tong, lurking outside, secretly snapped a photo of Qin Yu, Su Li, and the others and posted it in their class group. "Yan, guess who's at the sales office? Qin Yu. And he's arguing with Su Li's mom. Get over here, people." Instantly, the messages started flying. "What's Qin Yu doing at the sales office? Is he still chasing Su Li? Luo Tong, are you sure it's Qin Yu arguing with Su Li's mom? Maybe you mixed it up. It could be Qin Yu and Su Li's new boyfriend getting into it. That'd be a sight." Seeing the chaos in the group, Luo Tong jumped in to explain. Qin Yu was helping move some stuff, and he made a crack at Su Li's mom, and boom, they're going at it. The conversation in the group took a nasty turn. With Guozhini and Du Jing leading the charge, the chat exploded with cynical comments about Qin Yu. Remember the earlier fight between Guozhini, Du Jing, and Li Shi? Loads of students jumped in to back up the two girls. Now, Guozhini, riding high, was even more obnoxious, spewing pure hatred for Qin Yu as if that's the only way she could get her kicks. Luo Tong scrolled through the messages, realizing she'd stirred up a hornet's nest and instantly regretting posting that photo of Qin Yu. "Let me tell you something, Qin Yu," Su's mother said, like she could read his mind. "Don't get any ideas about getting back with Su Li. I know, she dumped you, and you can't accept it. You think you can win her back. Take a look in the mirror." Qin Yu just laughed, but it was edged with anger. "Relax, even if Su Li got down on her knees and begged me to take her back, I wouldn't." "So, what you're saying? Not gonna happen." "Big talk," Su's mother sneered. "Qin Yu, stop pretending. Who wouldn't want my daughter? You don't stand a chance. Are you people for real?" Gui Yifang finally exploded. "You're so full of yourselves. Qin Yu never said he wanted Su Li back. Why are you acting like that's even a possibility? And who are you? Some kind of spokesperson for Qin Yu?" Su's mother glared at Gui Yifang, even more annoyed to see that this girl Qin Yu was hanging around wasn't any worse looking than Su Li. "I'm Qin Yu's friend. And yeah, I'm into him." "Too bad he's not into me," Gui Yifang blurted out. "What? You actually like Qin Yu?" Everyone was stunned, trying to figure out if Gui Yifang was serious. Even though Gui Yifang was wearing the sales staff uniform, she was stunning, and standing next to Su Li, she almost outshone her. A girl like that liked Qin Yu. Even Feng Yuan was green with envy. If he had to pick between Su Li and Gui Yifang, he'd choose the latter in a heartbeat. "You say you know Qin Yu, so you're just covering for him. I don't believe you'd like a poor kid like that. So Qin Yu, why are you here with my daughter? Don't tell me you're here to buy a house too. Sue's mother pressed, refusing to believe a girl better than her daughter would be interested in Qin Yu. Qin Yu's here to buy a house, what's so weird about that? Guiyefang shot back, clearly not liking Sue's mother and her crew. Right, Qin Yu's going to buy a house. Miss, don't let him fool you, that kid's a pro at pretending. Feng Yuan scoffed, before he could finish, a voice, dripping with surprise, cut through the air. Mr. Qin. So, this is where you were, that the property consultant who'd originally met Qin Yu, trailed by the sales department manager, was heading straight for Qin Yu, all smiles, then, Yang Hui, bringing up the rear, practically bowed as she addressed Qin Yu. Mr. Qin, I'm Yang Hui, the sales department manager. Sorry to keep you waiting. I already got in touch with Mr. Li, he's on his way and should be here any minute. After Li Hui had talked to Li Junxiao on the phone, he'd gone looking for Qin Yu right away, but he was nowhere to be found in the waiting area. He looked everywhere before he finally found him. Oh, so you're the sales manager here. Mr. Qin, why don't you come with me to the VIP lounge on the second floor? Mr. Li will be there soon, Li Hui urged. Hey, Manager Yang, don't fall for this guy. He doesn't have the cash to buy a dog house. You should be sucking up to us instead, Feng Yuan whined, feeling snubbed that the sales manager was treating Qin Yu with so much respect. Yeah, my brother-in-law's right. Are you blind, sales manager? You'd be better off kissing up to my brother-in-law than some broke kid, Su Kun added. Yang Hui looked at Feng Yuan, Su Kun, and then at the group before settling on Guiyefang. Guiyefang, who are these people? They're not clients of yours, are they? Manager Yang, I don't know them. They were being rude to Qin Yu just now, Guiyefang said, sensing what was coming. In that case, call security and have them thrown out, Yang Hui said, her voice like ice. Li Junxiao had made it crystal clear on the phone, Mr. Qin was not to be slighted in any way. And Li Junxiao was on his way, someone that important, and these people dared to insult him. This was his chance to shine. What? You're going to throw us out? I'm a customer who bought a house here. Is that how you treat people? I'm going to complain. I'm going to complain about you, the sales manager. Sue's mother exploded. Complain all you want. The door's right over there. Please leave. You're not welcome here, Yang Hui said, pointing towards the exit. You. Sue's mother sputtered, so furious she could barely breathe, jabbing a finger at Yang Hui, unable to find the words. Fine, Manager Yang, you can kick us out, but you're stuck entertaining this kid. I'm betting you'll get fired for this. When I complain to Mr. Li in your project department, he will fire you. I know him, Feng Yuan sneered. Feng Yuan had met Mr. Li from the Qinhu real estate project department through a friend at a nightclub. He'd just come to look at a house and called Li for a discount. Feng Yuan, you're a genius. Call that Mr. Li and complain. I can tell Mr. Yang is trouble, Sue's mother said, practically glowing. Go for it, brother-in-law, call and see if this manager's still so cocky, Su Kun urged. Call whoever you want, but I'm saying it again, please leave, Yang Hui said, unfazed. Chapter 83 Recognition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, don't blame me if I get a little rough, Feng Yuan said, his eyes turning cold. He grabbed his phone and made a call. Once connected, he launched right into his complaint to the sales manager, explaining the situation. So, Manager Yang is with you in the Kaidan district? The manager asked on the other end. That's right, Feng Yuan replied quickly. Okay, I'm on my way, the manager said, and hung up abruptly. Feng Yuan, putting down his phone, sneered. Well, isn't this a coincidence? Mr. Li is already in the area and will be here shortly. Manager Yang, this might cost you your job. Qin Yu glanced at Su Kun and the others, his face twisting in disgust. Manager Yang, just get out of here. Looking at these clowns is starting to bum me out. Of course, Mr. Qin, right this way. Yang Hui quickly gestured towards the door, a picture of respectful obedience. Qin Yu turned to Guiyafang. Let's catch up later. I'm going to take a seat over there. Sure, I'm swamped anyway, she replied. Qin Yu headed for the door, followed by Manager Yang and the saleswoman. Hold on a second. You think you can just leave? Suddenly feeling guilty because Mr. Li is coming? Or are you just scared? Su Kun blocked his path, a sneer plastered across his face. Move it, Qin Yu said, his eyes hardening. He disliked Su Kun from the start. If the guy kept running his mouth, Qin Yu was going to shut him up personally. Su Kun, what are you doing? Get out of the way, Su Li snapped unexpectedly. She'd been silent, wrestling with her thoughts, unsure of what to say. She walked slowly in front of Qin Yu and what she said next shocked everyone. Qin Yu, I'm sorry. I want to formally apologize. I was wrong. Even Qin Yu was taken aback. What's this woman up to? He wondered. The room hushed. Guiyafang, who was about to leave, stopped in her tracks. He Luotong looked at Su Li strangely, remembering how Su Li had been badmouthing Qin Yu in their class group just the other day. And now, this? Suddenly, Lu Qiao exclaimed, Luotong, I just figured it out. Figured what out? He Luotong asked, turning to him, puzzled. Remember that sports car we saw, the one that must have cost close to $500,000? Yeah, so. Qin Yu's old classmate was driving it, Lu Qiao said, nodding towards Qin Yu. Wait, what? He Luotong's jaw dropped. I'm not kidding. Here, look. Lu Qiao fumbled for his phone and pulled up a photo he'd snapped earlier. The shot was a side view of the Dark Knight Zephyr. Qin Yu was unmistakably in the driver's seat. He Luotong recognized him instantly, the clothes matching perfectly. Qin Yu drives a $500,000 sports car. Holy crap. He Luotong was beyond excited. He quickly opened the class group, found the photo album, and posted Qin Yu's picture to the chat with the caption, second time posting this today. Guess why? Someone quickly asked. Luotong, saw you posted earlier, saying it was a sports car that cost millions. Don't tease us, what's the name? He Luotong explained, that car belongs to Qin Yu. Look closely at the photo. That's him driving, isn't it? Then he added another message, Su Li just apologized to Qin Yu, by the way. He Luotong stopped looking at the group, but his classmates were going crazy. Is this some kind of joke? How did we suddenly jump to Qin Yu driving a luxury car, and Su Li apologizing to him? Seriously. I looked again, that's definitely Qin Yu driving that $500,000 sports car. I'm freaking out. Turns out we've all been completely clueless. Even Su Li didn't realize Qin Yu's some super rich guy, driving a $500,000 car. She must have found out and is now groveling, begging for his forgiveness. Who knows, maybe Qin Yu rented the car, or he's just someone's chauffeur, Guozheni chimed in. Guozheni, are you serious? We're talking about a limited edition sports car worth $500,000. Whoever owns that thing is going to keep it locked up. They're not going to rent it out, and they're definitely not going to hire a driver. Even if the car belongs to Qin Yu, even if he's rich, he's still no Li Junxiao, Du Jing said bitterly. Yeah, you can't even compare them. Meanwhile. Su Li, have you lost your mind? Why are you apologizing to Qin Yu? Mother Su stared at her daughter in disbelief. Sis, are you feeling okay? Her brother asked. Feng Yuan's face darkened, his eyes filled with rage. Su Li just stared directly at Qin Yu. Su Li, I don't know what you're playing at, but let me be clear, we're done. Don't think for a second that I'm going to change my mind, Qin Yu said, frowning. Su Li visibly deflated, stepping back, her face paling. Just then, a middle-aged man, sporting a round belly and a receding hairline, hurried over. Feng Yuan's face lit up. President Li, you're finally here. Li Degan glanced at Feng Yuan, ignored him, and asked Yang Hui urgently, "Manager Yang, where is Mr. Qin?" Yang Hui quickly introduced them. "Mr. Li, this is Mr. Qin." "Mr. Qin, hello, hello. I'm Li Deegan, General Manager of the Real Estate Project. I heard you were coming to buy a house, and I feel terrible for not being here to greet you personally." Guided by Yang Hui, Li Deegan rushed to Qin Yu, smiling obsequiously. Feng Yuan, who had been beaming at Li Deegan, froze, confused. He muttered to himself, "Mr. Qin, that the general manager of Tang Real Estate Group was showing such respect to Qin Yu that, except for Gui Yafeng and Yang Hui, everyone's jaws dropped. Even knowing about the sports car, He Luotong and Lu Qiao were stunned, now even more convinced of Qin Yu's true status. "Mr. Li is too polite. I just came to buy a few buildings. No need to roll out the red carpet. Mr. Qin, you're joking. You're a VIP guest of Qin Yu Real Estate. Your arrival brings honor to the sales department. It reflects well on me, Mr. Li, don't you think?" President Li's mouth twitched almost imperceptibly at Qin Yu's words. Is that even human? He thought. Casually buying a few buildings. Like picking up groceries, but he kept his expression respectful. From Qin Yu's words, Li Deegan could tell that Li Juanxiao's description was definitely wrong and there was something off. Chapter 84 Apologize. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Qin Yu and President Li talking, Sue's mother slowly snapped out of her daze. Even she could tell that Qin Yu was somebody important. From what they were saying, Qin Yu was really here to buy a house. Could it be that Qin Yu was secretly rich or well-connected, and had deliberately kept it from them? The thought hit Sue's mother hard. She felt like she'd missed a golden opportunity for the Su family, and maybe even ruined it herself. Back when Su Li and Qin Yu were dating, she was always pressuring Su Li to break up with him. Su Li eventually did break it off, mainly because the boss's son was after her and the money was too tempting. But, when it came down to it, Sue's mother's constant nagging had worn her down. Sue's mother's face fell. She didn't want to believe it was true, hoping it was all a dream. She couldn't help but ask, "Qin Yu, you're really here to buy a house?" Qin Yu glanced at Sue's mother, ignored her question, and said to Li Deegan, "Let's talk somewhere else." "Of course, Mr. Qin, right this way." Li Deegan quickly stepped aside, gesturing for him to proceed. This time Su Kun didn't dare to interfere. He could see things weren't right. With President Li there to keep him in check, he knew better than to speak up. Seeing that Qin Yu was ignoring her, Sue's mother wasn't angry, just even more anxious. Wait, that it was Su Li who spoke. Maybe others hadn't paid attention to what Qin Yu had said, but she'd heard it loud and clear, and what she'd heard had shocked and saddened her. Hearing that Qin Yu was about to leave, she panicked and blurted out, stopping him. Qin Yu had taken only a couple of steps and stopped. He looked back at Su Li, waiting to hear what she had to say. He was also a little surprised. Su Li was acting like a completely different person, without her usual arrogance. "Qin Yu, you said you were here to buy several buildings. Not just a few apartments or villas, but buildings." Su Li rolled the words over in her mind, finally repeating what she'd heard, waiting for Qin Yu to confirm it. "How many buildings? How many buildings does Qin Yu want to buy?" Everyone was confused. Now that they thought about it, Qin Yu had said that. But who knew if it was just a slip of the tongue, or if they'd misheard? The idea of buying a few entire buildings was so far-fetched that it was almost funny. Yet Su Li had asked the question aloud. Everyone was looking at Su Li like she was crazy. "Su Li, what's gotten into you? How could Qin Yu buy a few buildings? Even if he did say it, how can you believe that?" Mother Su looked at Su Li with concern. "Sis, you feeling okay? Su Li, get real. There are over 150 apartments in one building. The price is insane. Even if Qin Yu has money, there's no way he could afford a whole building." Feng Yuan laughed. He Luotong and Lu Qiao nodded in agreement. Even Gui Yafeng thought Feng Yuan had a point. Just as Feng Yuan finished speaking, a voice came from outside. "Su Li, you're right. Qin's here to buy a few buildings." Following the voice, Li Junxiao and Gu Qianxi walked in. Li Junxiao. Li Junxiao, and Gu Qianxi, you're here too. Seeing Li Junxiao and Gu Qianxi enter, Su Li and He Luotong spoke at the same time. Li Junxiao used to be the heartthrob of every girl in school. Su Li wasn't the only one, He Luotong was no exception. Back in middle school, Li Junxiao was so popular, everyone knew him, everyone envied him, and everyone had a crush on him. Even He Luotong, now married, got butterflies seeing Li Junxiao again. He looked as good as ever. Li Junxiao, I forgot Qin Yu Real Estate is your family's company. A storm of emotions flashed through Su Li's eyes as she looked at Li Junxiao, her eyes red. When she saw Gu Qianxi next to Li Junxiao, she felt a familiar pang of jealousy. Li Junxiao looked calmly at Su Li. He used to feel guilty towards her, but his heart had long hardened. Su Li, long time no see. And Luotong, I didn't expect to see you here. Li Junxiao. He Luotong's eyes lit up as he remembered something, and he smiled. I forgot about that. This real estate belongs to your family. I'm just here to buy a house. Since we're old classmates, can you give me a discount? Li Junxiao was taken aback, then laughed. He Luotong, after all these years, you haven't changed a bit. Easy enough. Just for you, class president and old classmate, how about a 50% discount? That's practically giving it away. Deal. He Luotong said, happily surprised. Lu Qiao, standing next to him, also looked excited. He hadn't expected to luck out like this today. He never realized He Luotong had such an advantage. Between this old classmate and Qin Yu, it was like a reunion of the cool kids. Why didn't he have any awesome old classmates like that? Alright, Manager Li, see which apartment my old classmate is interested in and sell it to her for half price. Yes, Mr. Li, Yang Hui said quickly. Li Junxiao turned to Su Li again, smiling. Su Li, you're not here to buy a house, are you? I can sell it to you at half price too. Su Li stood silently, biting her lip, saying nothing. Su Li, what are you waiting for? Say yes. Su's mother was getting impatient and urged Su Li to agree. She could see that this huge development was owned by Su Li's former classmate. This was a real rich kid. Feng Yuan couldn't hold a candle to him. If only he could be the Su family's son-in-law. Auntie, let me introduce you. Li Junxiao and Gu Qianxi were classmates with me and Su Li back in the day. I'm sure you've heard of Li Junxiao's father. He's Li Dezhou, the richest man in Shaqing. He Luotong was in a great mood, so he sidled up to Su's mother and made the introduction. Oh, so you're the son of the richest man in Shaqing. Su Li never told me she had such an impressive classmate. Boss Li is a well-known celebrity in Shaqing, and I've heard he's a great philanthropist. Su's mother gave Li Junxiao a bright, eager look, her envy growing with each word. If only Su Li would make a move. You're too kind, Auntie. Li Junxiao nodded to Su's mother. Seeing that Su Li still hadn't answered him, he had no choice but to say again. I'll leave the offer on the table, let me know when you decide. With that, he and Gu Qianxi strode toward Qin Yu. Young Master Qin, I apologize. I'm sorry for being late and missing the mark. Chapter 85 Su Li #039, S regret. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After he finished talking, Li Junxiao and Gu Qianxi both bowed to Qin Yu. It was a display of respect from the less powerful to someone stronger, given willingly and without any shame. Everyone, except for Li Degan who knew what was up, looked like they'd seen a ghost when Li Junxiao bowed and apologized to Qin Yu. Li Junxiao had always been so cool and collected. They, on the other hand, were completely stunned. The son of Shaqing's richest guy was actually bowing down to the person Su Li used to look down on. Su Li's mom was speechless. How could this be real? There's no way. Li Junxiao, someone so awesome, was acting so submissive in front of Qin Yu. Su Li stumbled back a few steps, her heart pounding. In that moment, a lot of things clicked into place. She'd messed up, she realized, by breaking up with Qin Yu, throwing away a chance to become a wealthy and respected wife. especially considering how much Qin Yu used to love her. Gui Yafang stood there, silent, filled with regret. Even He Luodong's hand, holding her phone, was shaking a little. Qin Yu was the real deal, the richest kid in the whole class, hiding in plain sight. Not only did he drive $1 million sports car, but he could make Li Junxiao bow down, calling him young Master Qin. Feng Yuan felt a wave of dizziness and nearly fell. He finally understood, Qin Yu wasn't just some hotel driver or ordinary Joe Schmo. He was seriously rich, the kind of boss who could crush him without breaking a sweat. Apology accepted, Qin Yu said casually, glancing at Li Junxiao. Thank you, young Master Qin. Li Junxiao finally straightened up. Is the purchase contract ready? Qin Yu asked. Purchase contract? Li Junxiao and Gu Ruoshi exchanged confused glances. They hadn't expected Qin Yu to jump straight to signing a contract. They figured they'd at least talk business first. Buying 4 buildings wasn't chump change. They might even try to haggle down the price before getting a contract ready. I'm here to sign a contract, not to haggle. We agreed yesterday, 22 billion for the 4 buildings. Just get the contract drawn up, I'll pay, but I don't have all day. Qin Yu said impatiently. Yes, young Master Qin, the contract will be ready right away. Why don't you come upstairs with me, have some coffee, tea, fruit, whatever. Li Junxiao said, bowing. Fine, I'll wait. And with that, Qin Yu, Li Junxiao, Li Degan, and the others headed upstairs. Those left behind were stunned into silence. This time, everyone had heard clearly. Qin Yu really was there to buy several buildings, 4 of them, worth 22 billion. Even if they didn't want to believe it, they knew it was real, not a dream. Gui Yafang watched Qin Yu walk away, his status now completely out of reach. From last night to today, her understanding of Qin Yu's identity had been flipped upside down again and again, being able to drop 22 billion on property. There was no guessing how much money he must really have. With a weak smile, Gui Yafang turned to greet the client she had. Still, the image of Qin Yu's cool demeanor kept replaying in her mind. Su Li, is this for real? Am I dreaming? Qin Yu is going to drop over 20 billion on 4 buildings. After a long silence, Su Li's mom finally couldn't hold it in. Li Junxiao's respect for Qin Yu had shocked everyone, and then Qin Yu casually stating his intent to buy 4 buildings for 22 billion. It just scared everyone senseless. What does it even mean to spend 22 billion on buildings? Only the seriously rich could do that. Li Junxiao couldn't, probably not even Shacheng's richest man, Li Dezhou. People at that level were beyond the comprehension of Su Li, He Luotong, and the others. Their wealth simply couldn't be measured by ordinary standards. And just a few days ago, Su Li could have been one of those people. Su Li looked at her mom with empty eyes. Mom, what if it's real? What if it's not? What does it have to do with you? Su Li's words hit like a slap. She wanted to say something, but she couldn't. Su Li had burned her bridge with Qin Yu. No matter how rich or capable he was, it had nothing to do with her anymore. Su Li, I should go, Feng Yuan said, looking sour. You know why? He tricked you last time. Your ex-boyfriend is way out of my league. I already offended him because of you. Don't contact me again. And with that, he stormed out. Feng Yuan, what did you say? Why are you leaving? Su Li's mom was completely lost. Feng Yuan just said some harsh things and left, and she didn't even understand. She anxiously asked Su Li, your boyfriend just left. Why are you still standing there? Su's mom had been counting on Feng Yuan to help Su Li buy a house, and now he left before the house was even bought, leaving her feeling stressed and upset. Mom, don't chase him. He didn't really want to buy me a house in the first place. Su Li said, a little calmer. What do you mean? Then why did he bring you here today? Su Li didn't know how to answer that. Su Kun spoke up. Sis, if Feng Yuan leaves, he leaves. Don't worry about it. See if you can get back together with Qin Yu. If you two were together, he's loaded and just bought a bunch of real estate. It'd be easy for him to give me a couple of houses. Su Li's mom's eyes lit up. That's right, Su Kuan's right. Su Li, you still got a shot. Why don't you win Qin Yu back? You know what they say, women have it easy. In relationships, maybe Qin Yu still loves you. Su Li was unmoved. Mom, didn't you hate Qin Yu the most before? Why are you telling me to chase him now? Honey, that was then, this is now. I admit I was blind before. Look, Qin Yu's still good looking, even better than Li Junxiao. A man like that is worth swallowing your pride for. Su Li's mom coaxed. Su Li, she's right. Happiness is up to you. Qin Yu probably doesn't have a girlfriend yet. You gotta move fast. Otherwise, that girl earlier said she likes Qin Yu too. That has to mean something. He Luotong chimed in, knowing more about relationships now that she was married. Some things, if you seize them, can guarantee a life of wealth and comfort. Su Li's empty eyes briefly lit up, but then dimmed again at the thought of Qin Yu's attitude. Shaking her head, she said, I know Qin Yu's personality. If he were ordinary, maybe I'd still have a chance. But with what he showed today, his status, his wealth, it's beyond the realm of normal people. With that kind of attitude, my chances are practically zero. Don't be discouraged. How do you know you won't succeed if you don't try? Well, think about it. I'm going to go look at the house. Li Junxiao promised me a 20% discount. I need to get this house locked down. After offering her encouragement, He Luotong pulled her husband away. She didn't forget to brag in the group chat. Guys, stop talking. I'm going to look at the house. Li Junxiao promised me a 20% discount on the house. As soon as she sent it, she got a ton of envious reactions. She also typed out everything that happened earlier and posted it in the group. The reason she was so keen on posting anything exciting in the group was mainly to keep the group chat alive. After all, she was the group leader. Chapter 86. Are you worth it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The group chat blew up with He Luotong's updates, like a string of depth charges, dragging in everyone, even those who'd been lurking for ages, or hadn't said a word in a year, to excitedly dissect everything about Qin Yu. It started with the rumor that Qin Yu was driving a multi-million-dollar sports car and Su Li had apologized to him. Then came the sales manager, who treated Qin Yu like royalty and seemed ready to throw Feng Yuan, Su Kuan, and the rest of them out on their ears. Everyone started speculating about Qin Yu's identity. Some even wondered if he'd won the lottery to afford such a ride. That theory got some immediate support. Guozheni and Du Jing, who were never big fans of Qin Yu, were especially convinced he'd hit the jackpot. Then He Luotong dropped another bomb. Mr. Li from the real estate project department had shown up specifically for Qin Yu, addressing him respectfully as Mr. Qin. That changed the whole tone of the group chat. Guesses about his background became more nuanced, and nobody brought up the lottery idea anymore. Guozheni and Du Jing conveniently forgot their earlier theory and started comparing Li Junxiao to Qin Yu, arguing that no matter how rich Qin Yu was, he couldn't hold a candle to Li Junxiao. Then Li Junxiao and Gu Qianqi actually showed up, bowing their heads to Qin Yu and apologizing, calling him young Master Qin. That stunned everyone. Even Guozheni and Du Jing were left speechless. They went silent, not sending another message. No one had expected that Qin Yu, who seemed like nothing special, would turn out to be even more powerful than Li Junxiao. If Li Junxiao was kowtowing to Qin Yu, what could they say? They could only be impressed. Finally, the news broke. Qin Yu was dropping 22 billion to buy 4 buildings. The group went dead silent. Everyone was trying to wrap their heads around the shock. This wasn't just about figuring out Qin Yu's status anymore. It's one thing to estimate how wealthy someone is, but it's another thing entirely to see them actually throwing down that kind of cash. 22 million, damn. If he just split that up, no. Give everyone 1%, and they'd be set for life. That's how much clout Qin Yu had. With the revelation of Qin Yu's true stature, everyone in the group was suddenly on the same page, showering him with compliments. The most dramatic turnaround came from Guozheni and Du Jing. They'd started out trash-talking Qin Yu, even knowing he owned a ridiculously expensive sports car. Then they went silent. But after He Luotong's last message, They did a complete 180, singing Qin Yu's praises like there was no tomorrow. They couldn't heap enough praise on Qin Yu, and it was over the top. That's when Li Shi, who hadn't chimed in for ages, finally typed a message. Li Shi, Guozhini and Du Jing, are you guys just gonna pretend like what you said earlier didn't happen? I remember it all. You were the ones talking trash, and now you're acting like his biggest fans. I screenshotted everything you said and I'm sending it to Qin Yu. Let's see if he cares what you think. Guozhini and Du Jing went pale, their hands shaking as they gripped their phones. They were cursingly sure in their heads and filled with regret. Qin Yu was regretting something too, the stupidest thing he'd done since getting the system. Why had he been so dumb to brag about buying 4 buildings? He'd painted himself into a corner. Those thoughts flashed through his mind as he stared at the mountain of purchase contracts. Sighing, he picked up a pen and started signing. Thanks to his superhuman stamina, signing so many contracts didn't even tire him out. An hour later, Qin Yu signed the last contract and used the system to wire 22 billion to the real estate company. Then, he shelled out another 60 million to have them handle the property taxes. Finally, the house buying process was complete. As for the contracts and invoices, Qin Yu had Li Junxiao send someone to deliver them to his villa. He declined Li Junxiao and Li Degan's invitation to dinner and left the sales department, escorted out by the whole crew. As Qin Yu pulled out of the parking lot, he heard someone call his name. Even inside his soundproof sports car, Qin Yu's ears were sharp. He thought for a moment, then lowered the window and turned to see Su Li running up. Breathless. What's up? Qin Yu asked coolly as Su Li approached. Qin Yu, can we try again? Su Li's voice trembled. Qin Yu, I was wrong. I was so stupid. Can you forgive me? I'll never be arrogant again. I'll do whatever you want. Qin Yu waited for her to finish, unimpressed. He could see that Su Li had changed, but he wasn't the same guy she'd dumped anymore. Su Li, you ceased to exist for me the moment you broke up with me. So, you want to get back together? You're not worth my time. With that, Qin Yu turned away and gunned the engine, roaring off into the night. Unbeknownst to Qin Yu, someone had snapped a high-resolution photo of him talking to Su Li. That photo was quickly delivered to someone else. Fang Mingyue looked at the picture, and her lips curled into a smirk. Such a show-off. Buys a few houses and thinks he's a big shot. That she picked up the file on Qin Yu and started reading. It detailed everything about Qin Yu, from his birth to his studies, to his move to Nanjiang City, to his ex-girlfriend Su Li. It even mentioned his ownership of Huajiang Plaza, his purchase of Jianyun Hotel, and the deposits in his bank cards. Everything, down to the color of his underwear, was meticulously documented. Fang Mingyue put down the file and glared at her assistant, Wu Xiaoya. Xiaoya, how is it we can't find out where Qin Yu gets his money, and why he has the 5 elements supreme black card? Fang Dong, I'm sorry. His information is coming from overseas. Even though Mingyue Group controls all of Longxie Kingdom, we can't reach the deeper powers overseas, Wu Xiaoya explained. Fang Mingyue gritted her teeth. I just don't get it. I don't even have a supreme black card, but some nobody does. Are you kidding me? Wu Xiaoya was silent. Chapter 87 5,000 million. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Can you get me a copy of that? Fang Mingyue fixed her gaze on Wu Xiaoya. Wu Xiaoya felt a cold sweat break out on her forehead. Ms. Fang, to apply for the Supreme Black Card, you definitely meet the qualifications as a young lady. However, you need a deposit of 5 trillion yuan in one of the top banks to even apply. After a pause, she added, 5 trillion in deposits, not 5 trillion in assets. Fang Mingyue's voice was icy. Are you saying I can't afford $5 trillion? Wu Xiaoya scrambled to respond, that's not what I meant at all, Ms. Fang. If you want to withdraw that amount, of course you can. Humph. Fang Mingyue finally looked away. You can go now. Yes, ma'am, Wu Xiaoya answered, hesitating. Dr. Fang, the sales manager from Zhongzhou Longqing called. Apparently, a lot of people in Longqing are upset, complaining that their sales quota is too small. Some even went to the sales office to protest. Fang Mingyue scoffed. There are tons of cities in this country, and Longqing already gets 50% of the share. What more do those guys want? Tell them if they don't like it, they can fly overseas to buy it. I don't have time to micromanage this. Understood, Ms. Fong. I'll be going then. Wu Xiaoya carefully backed out of the room. Fong Mingyue sat quietly, her expression grave. Suddenly, she called out, "Aunt Qin." Almost instantly, a figure materialized. A masked woman in gray stood before Fong Mingyue. "Young master, what are your orders?" Qin Sanyang spoke with deep respect. "Aunt Qin, go to the Zhangtian auction house in Yucheng. See if they have any old medicinal materials for auction, or medicines that are effective for healing. If they do, bid on them." "Young master, shouldn't I send some holy guards instead? If I leave, I won't be able to guarantee your safety." "Don't worry, I'm in Longxia. I'm perfectly safe here. Besides, no one is going to bother me here, and the things the teacher gave me aren't for show. This is urgent. I trust you to handle it. Just go and come back quickly." Fong Mingyue then took out 2 items, a black bank card, and a strange, dark silver key resembling an iron plate. The letters TIS were engraved on the plate. "There's 500 billion on this card. Use it as needed. Take my silver wing too. With the silver wing, you'll be back in no time." "Okay, I'll do it, young master. Take care. I'll arrange a few more holy guards to protect you." Qin Sanyang accepted the card and key, gave Fong Mingyue a long, searching look, and then vanished. Qin Yu drove back to the villa and was amazed at how new everything looked, inside and out. This was all Xiaoguo's handiwork. She'd cleaned and wiped the windows, furniture, and appliances throughout the villa. "Sir, you're back." Seeing Qin Yu, Xiaoguo stopped what she was doing and rushed to greet him. Qin Yu nodded approvingly. "Good job." Xiaoguo beamed. "Thank you for the compliment, sir. Are you hungry? I'll make you something to eat." "Okay, go ahead." Xiaoguo cleaned up and hurried to the kitchen. Qin Yu sat down and opened his system panel. He saw that the check-in progress bar had exceeded 100 billion, the 5th level check-in had been unlocked, and it had refreshed. "System, sign in." Qin Yu closed his eyes and spoke silently. If he could ask for anything, it would be to receive check-in points. But he knew the odds of that were incredibly slim. "Congratulations, host. Check-in successful. You have received 5 trillion yuan in cash. 5 trillion yuan has been deposited into your account balance." 5 trillion. Qin Yu sighed softly. Just as he expected, no surprises, but getting that much money was still satisfying. He glanced at his balance, 5040.1 plus billion. Looking at this massive sum, he fell into thought, contemplating how to best use this windfall for the next check-in. After thinking about it for a while, he felt a headache coming on and decided to stop. Planning how to spend money every day was exhausting. It'd be better to wait until Tang Qin set up her company, then put some of the money into the company account for her to invest. He could just be responsible for sending money. That'd be so much easier. Life would be much more enjoyable. After dinner, I should go to Huajiang Square and see what Tang Qin has been working on. Qin Yu finally reached a decision. Seeing that Xiaoguo was still busy in the kitchen and dinner wouldn't be ready for a while, he picked up his phone and turned it on. He opened Weiwei and saw several unread messages, all from Li Shi. He opened them and his face darkened. Guozhani, Du Jing. He spoke their names in a cold tone. He vaguely remembered them from junior high. They seemed to be good friends with Su Li. He didn't have much of an impression of them otherwise, but for them to be so malicious, constantly putting him down in the class group, that wasn't going to fly. He opened the junior high class group and sent a message. Guozhani, and Du Jing, I'll remember you too. I, Qin Yu, have the means, and I'll make sure you 2 old classmates who like to badmouth others regret it. After sending the message, Qin Yu deleted the class group. His words sent a shockwave through the group chat. Everyone who saw the message felt a jolt and started sending messages to respond or greet Qin Yu. Then they realized that Qin Yu had left the group. and couldn't help but feel dejected, a classmate that rich, leaving the group with such a harsh warning. It instantly doused everyone's enthusiasm and made them swallow their flattery. Guizhini and Du Jing also saw Qin Yu's message, and knew from it that they had completely offended him. Not only that, but the entire class group was now against them. If Qin Yu hadn't left, they might have had a chance to make amends. But after leaving the group, they didn't even have a chance to apologize. The others assumed Qin Yu had left because of them. Neither of them dared to type a response. They were afraid of being ganged up on. Following Qin Yu's message, people were already sending them private messages, thinking about the mistakes they'd made. They felt incredibly regretful and fearful. Qin Yu sent a few more messages to Li Shi, then started watching Doulang videos. He saw that the number of followers on his Doulang account had surpassed 50,000, and private messages were flooding his inbox. He had no choice but to turn off private messages, only allowing mutual friends to message him. "Sir, I've finished cooking. Would you like to eat now?" Soon after, Xiaoguo finished preparing the meal and came to ask. "Bring the food." "Okay." Xiaoguo busied herself again, and plates of dishes and rice were quickly placed on the table in the side hall on the first floor. Chapter 88 Inspection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Let's eat together. Qin Yu sat down. Xia Guosheng handed him a bowl of rice, then stood there, looking nervous. Qin Yu gestured for her to sit. "Okay, sir." Xia Guo filled a bowl for herself, sat down, but didn't touch her chopsticks, stealing glances at Qin Yu. Qin Yu sighed. "Why are you staring at me? Eat." He took a bite of the greens, lightly seasoned, but perfect. Qin Yu preferred his vegetables lightly seasoned, sometimes even without salt. Nodding, he took another bite. Xia Guo relaxed a bit and began to eat too. Qin Yu tried a piece of fish. Too salty. He frowned slightly, then he tried the pork belly. He immediately spat it out. The pork belly was bland, barely salted, and undercooked. Xia Guo rushed to apologize. "I'm so sorry, sir. Is it the salt? Or is it just bad?" Qin Yu frowned. "It's not too much salt, it's barely any salt. Did you even taste this? And the meat isn't even cooked." Xia Guo lowered her head. "Sir, I need to tell you something." "What is it?" "I'm not used to salt. Even when I add it, I can't really taste it. Plus, I only eat rice and vegetables. I never eat meat, so I wouldn't know if it's cooked or not." "No wonder." Qin Yu gave a wry smile. "So, the seasoning in these dishes is completely off." Xia Guo nodded sheepishly. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hide it, but I really need this job." Qin Yu paused. "You're cooking. I guess that explains how you got hired at all." "Sir, you're not going to fire me, are you? If you do, nobody will take me." Xia Guo sounded distressed. "Don't worry. Seeing how hard you worked today, I won't fire you." Qin Yu managed a smile. "Thank you, sir." Xia Guo smiled through her tears, then, hesitantly, she added, "If you want, you can pay me less." Seeing Xia Guo's apologetic expression, Qin Yu chuckled. "Don't worry about it. I can afford your salary." He looked at her curiously. "Your taste is pretty unusual. Is something wrong? Should you see a doctor?" "No need. I've been like this since I was a kid." Xia Guo's face flickered when she heard doctor. "Sit tight. I'll redo these 2 dishes, then we can eat." Qin Yu stood up, grabbed the plates, and headed for the kitchen. "Sir, let me help." Xia Guo watched him go and immediately stood to follow. "No, it'll be quick." Qin Yu replied. Already in the kitchen, he was familiar with cooking. He used to cook for himself in his rented apartment after work. He fired up the stove, adding salt and water as needed, and recooked the 2 dishes. Soon, he brought the 2 steaming plates back to the table, and they resumed their meal. Xia Guo stuck to vegetables. After they finished, Qin Yu said, "I might not be back for dinner much in the future. If you see I'm not coming, just cook for yourself and don't worry about me." "Okay, sir. After lunch and a short rest, Qin Yu drove to Huajiang Square. Tang Qin showed him the new company's office space on the top floor of Building B, and he offered suggestions for the ongoing renovations. Then they went down to the 10th floor, to a temporary office. Qin Yu saw the dozen or so new employees recruited by the headhunting firm. Today was their first day. They hadn't been assigned tasks yet. It was all about introductions, meetings, and getting familiar with their new roles. Of course, as an investment company, once the personnel and funds were in place, they could get to work immediately. The new hires included legal experts for contracts and legal matters. There were employees skilled in investment, responsible for evaluating and inspecting financing opportunities. The finance department had 3 new recruits, and 2 people in management. Tang Qin was temporarily managing all 4 newly established departments. Only the legal department had a deputy manager, the rest were entry-level positions. These newcomers couldn't yet grasp the terrifying potential of the company they were joining. Its explosive growth would exceed everyone's wildest dreams. A trillion-yuan market cap couldn't even compare to some of the company's many subsidiaries. Later, some believed Qin Yu Capital had surpassed even TIS, becoming the largest local company in the past 200 years. These early employees would prove to be incredibly fortunate. Tang Qin, only one person in the management team is too few, Qin Yu remarked, smiling, as he sat on the sofa in Tang Qin's office, overlooking the city through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Tang Qin poured him a cup of coffee and set it on the round glass table in front of him. She poured herself a cup and sat next to him. She forced a smile. "Boss, you're still not satisfied? We got all these people in one day. The headhunters delivered because we're paying good fees and high salaries. Finding executives with both expertise and management experience takes time." Tang Qin wore a fashionable light gray, short-sleeved suit with a short skirt, sitting next to Qin Yu, her long legs angled to the right, revealing a glimpse of her thigh. She lifted her coffee and took a sip. Her eyes kept drifting back to Qin Yu, as if sizing him up. With a hint of bewilderment, Qin Yu sipped his coffee, trying to ignore Tang Qin's obvious attraction. He knew it was his enhanced physique and mental strength. Not only was he more handsome, but his aura had changed. Man, you can't be too good-looking, or you'll attract trouble. Luckily, he was now a half-step Huajin grandmaster. Even if a love-struck woman came at him, he could handle it, though with Tang Qin, that might be a different story. Chapter 89 Tang Qin #039, S birthday. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Right then, Tang Qin was standing way too close. Her perfume, a kind of jasmine scent, kept tickling his nose. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of her. Well, let's just say her backside was attention-grabbing. Qin Yu wondered if she was deliberately trying to seduce him, but he couldn't prove it. He glanced at Tang Qin, who looked a little tired, and said, "Like I said, I can only sing your praises here. I'm too impatient. But you've got to work hard these next few days. I'll say it again, don't worry about saving me money. Spend what you need to. Hire a VP now, or find another assistant. It'll take some of the pressure off." Tang Qin smiled and said, "I actually found someone. She's a VP at a venture capital firm. She's successfully invested in several companies that went public. She's really good. She's got some beef with the major shareholder at her current company, and she's talking to a headhunter about jumping ship. The headhunter recommended her to me, and I offered her half again her current salary. They're still working out the details, but I think we can land her pretty soon." Qin Yu nodded. "Excellent. That was handled well. The different departments are slowly forming. It's not too late to set up HR when the company grows. But we're still missing risk control and fundraising." Qin Yu thought for a moment. "We can put risk control on hold for now. After all, we're just starting out, and we need to prioritize. As for fundraising, we don't need it at all." "Why?" Tang Qin asked, her curiosity piqued. Qin Yu glared at her playfully. "Seriously? Your boss has deep pockets. What would we need to fundraise for? Don't let people think you work for me, I'd be embarrassed." Qin Yu mentally said this to the system. Tang Qin stuck out her tongue, being a little cheeky. "Got it. I was being cheap and underestimated you. boss. Won't happen again. Speaking of which, how much is left in the company account? About $8.8 million. Want me to pull up the statements? Tang Qin thought Qin Yu wanted to double-check the numbers. Nah. Is it the same account you sent me last night? Yep. Qin Yu paused. 8 million is a little low for any serious investment. I'll transfer some more in. Tang Qin responded, we're just getting started, so we should take it one step at a time. When it comes to investments, it's better to start small. Then, once the team is experienced and everyone's comfortable, we can make some bigger moves. It's safer that way. Besides investments, we also need to integrate your assets into the company's management system. She took a sip of coffee. Qin Yu wanted to smack her. If they took things step by step, how would he spend enough money to trigger the system rewards? Alright, I'll transfer $200 billion to the company's capital account first. Before he could finish, Tang Qin choked on her coffee and sprayed it right at him. Quick reflexes kicked in. Qin Yu covered Tang Qin's mouth and helped her swallow the mouthful of coffee. He let go. Tang Qin stared at him, face flushed, eyes wide. Qin Yu was a little embarrassed. I saw you were about to spit it out, so I covered your mouth. Are you okay? Did you choke? Tang Qin shook her head, speechless, still wide-eyed. Qin Yu sighed. You're not mad, are you? Tang Qin smiled sheepishly. Sorry, boss. I lost it there for a second. Was that true? Are you really transferring $200 billion to the account? Does your boss ever lie? Gotta think bigger. A measly $200 billion scares you like that? What's gonna happen when it's hundreds of billions or trillions? Tang Qin's heart skipped a beat. She couldn't help wondering just who he was and how he had so much money, but she didn't ask. Tang Qin knew that, at the end of the day, she was just an employee. Qin Yu was easygoing, but she needed to know her place. Some questions were better left unasked. Qin Yu was already on his phone, ordering the system to transfer $200 billion to the company account. Of course, the account was in Qin Yu's name, and he was listed as the company's legal representative. Done. I transferred $200 billion. You can check it. That was fast. 200 billion. Tang Qin was taken aback. Her boss was something else entirely. I've got a task for you. Give the company a few days to find its feet. Then, within a month, you need to spend over $200 billion. Whether it's buying property, investing in other companies, or developing projects in partnership with others, it's up to you. Qin Yu ignored her reaction. Spend $200 billion in a month? Boss, are you just throwing money around? No risk assessment or anything? What if you lose money? If you lose money, that's on me. I'm not afraid of losing money. I'm afraid of you not spending it. Do what I say, and there'll be a bonus. All I'm gonna do is give you unlimited cash. Okay, then. Guess I'll just have to risk my life to humor you. Hold on. I don't need you to risk your life, and I'm not a gentleman. Spending $200 billion shouldn't be too hard. I'm not asking you to make $500 billion. Tang Qin smiled. Don't worry. I promise I'll get it done. One more thing, I want to know about every investment before you make it. Tell me one day in advance. No problem. Tang Qin didn't know what he was getting at, but she nodded obediently. No rush to integrate my personal assets. Make a few investments first. Then, once we've got enough people, I'll hand over Huajiang Plaza and the Jiangyun Hotel to you. Qin Yu said casually. Understood, Tang Qin replied seriously. Ring ring. Tang Qin's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID. She apologized. Sorry, it's my best friend. Go ahead. Don't mind me. Tang Qin answered the phone. It wasn't a long call. A few words, then she hung up. Qin Yu was drinking coffee, but he could still hear every word on the other end. There was a pleasant female voice. The main reason for the call was to ask Tang Qin if she wanted to get together today to celebrate her birthday. Tang Qin turned her down, saying she was busy with work. So, it's Tang Qin's birthday today. Qin Yu thought to himself. Chapter 90 Boyfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, you just started today, boss. You've met the team, but they don't really know you yet. Maybe you should call everyone together for a quick meeting. A few words from you would really boost morale and make a lasting impression. That's what Tang Qin suggested after making a call. Nah, I'll swing by another time when everyone's around. Okay. Come on, I'm gonna take you somewhere. Qin Yu stood up, saying this to Tang Qin. Where to? Tang Qin looked puzzled. You'll see. Qin Yu headed out of the office. Tang Qin followed, gesturing for her assistant, Su-ing, to come over. After giving a few instructions, she left the office area. Qin Yu waited at the door, then the two took the elevator down to the ground floor. The night wind. Tang Qin couldn't help but marvel at the super cool car, one of only 3 in the world. What are you waiting for? Get in. Qin Yu, already in the driver's seat, rolled down the window and called to Tang Qin. All right. Tang Qin hurried over, opened the passenger door, and hopped in. The night wind roared out of the parking garage at Huajiang Plaza and onto the road. Qin Yu reminded her, hold on tight, I'm driving. Tang Qin smiled, you're not gonna race or anything, are you? Just drive, I'm happy to experience this supercar's speed. Then, with the engine's roar, the night wind shot down the road like a black arrow. Amidst Tang Qin's occasional screams, they overtook vehicle after vehicle, leaving them far behind. The night wind slowed down for a stretch of road with speed cameras, but soon accelerated again. 20 minutes later, with a neat drift, the night wind pulled up in front of a fancy German car dealership. Don't tell me you're buying another car. Tang Qin was still a little shaken up in the passenger seat, her round face a touch pale, thinking back on the exhilarating, if not terrifying, ride. A flush returned to her cheeks. Seeing the sports car parked in front of the dealership, she couldn't resist asking. You guessed it. Get out, we're buying a car. Qin Yu said smugly. Soon, they were both out of the car and heading toward the dealership. Just as they reached the entrance, they bumped into a couple. The woman, in her 20s, had a slender figure, thick hair, and was wearing designer shorts. She recognized Tang Qin immediately, looking surprised. Tang Qin, what are you doing here? Kai Qiuying. Tang Qin studied the woman for a moment. He smiled. Wow, I almost didn't recognize you. Gesturing toward the middle-aged guy beside Kai Qiuying, she asked, and who's this? Tang Qin was about to ask if he was her father, but seeing the familiarity between them, she thought better of it. This is Lu Chaoqi. He owns a trading company, makes millions a year. He's my boyfriend. Kai Qiuying didn't hold back, stating their relationship with a touch of pride. Tang Qin realized that the rumors about Kai Qiuying quitting her job to date a rich guy were true. Qiuying, who's this? Lu Chaoqi had noticed that Tang Qin was attractive and had a great figure. He felt a pang of envy looking at the younger man beside her. This is Tang Qin, a former colleague from Jiangyun Hotel. Ah, a former colleague. Lu Chaoqi's eyes lit up as he reached out his hand. Nice to meet you, Miss Tang. Tang Qin felt awkward. The middle-aged man seemed a little sleazy, and she was repulsed. She really didn't want to shake his hand, but it seemed rude. Turning to Qin Yu, she had an idea, and ignored Lu Chaoqi's gesture. Hello, Mr. Lu. Then, grabbing Qin Yu's arm, she introduced him with a touch of desperation. Let me introduce my boyfriend, Qin Yu. Your boyfriend? Kai Qiuying looked at Qin Yu's young, handsome face, then at Lu Chaoqi, feeling a little envious. With a forced smile, she said, Tang Qin, your boyfriend is cute. What does he do? Qin Yu grabbed Tang Qin's hand, interlacing their fingers, surprised. He soon relaxed, figuring Tang Qin was just trying to avoid an awkward situation. His expression didn't change. As a boss, he didn't mind his employees taking advantage, as long as he reciprocated generously. Lu Chaoqi awkwardly retracted his hand. Annoyed that Tang Qin had snubbed him, he glared at Qin Yu. I don't really work. I just kick back. I happen to own a 7-star hotel, a shopping street, and a few $100 million in the bank, so I've lost the motivation to hustle. Not like Boss Lu here, running a trading company and working hard every day. Really impressive. Qin Yu grinned. He sensed Kai Qiuying's malicious intent in asking about his job, especially with Lu Chaoqi eyeing Tang Qin. Tang Qin, your boyfriend's a real comedian. Kai Qiuying chuckled stiffly, clearly not buying it. The idea of someone having hundreds of millions was laughable, but Lu Chaoqi's face darkened further, his gaze shifting from unfriendly to icy. He took Qin Yu's words as mockery, highlighting his age. Just then, a car salesperson approached with a professional smile. She bowed slightly. Welcome. I'm a salesperson here. Are you looking to buy a car? Lu Chaoqi nodded to the salesperson, pulling Kai Qiuying along. Let's go take a look. Okay. Kai Qiuying glanced back at Tang Qin. Are you buying today, Tang Qin, or is your boyfriend? Tang Qin looked at Qin Yu and replied, something like that. Then let's go in together. Kai Qiuying grinned, as if she had something up her sleeve, and so, the four of them entered the car dealership. The salesperson, sizing up Lu Chaoqi as the most likely buyer, zeroed in on him. Sir, what kind of car are you looking for? Or what's your price range? I can show you around. I'm buying a car for this lady. Ask her, it's up to her. Lu Chaoqi shot a look at Qin Yu and said to the salesperson. Thanks, honey. Kai Qiuying beamed, then turned to Tang Qin. Are you buying here with your boyfriend, Tang Qin?